Abby Sunderland was a fearless teenage sailor, driven by a dream that few would dare to chase to become the youngest person ever to sail solo around the world. Her journey wasn't just about breaking records, it was a bold quest into the unknown, a test of her courage against the most unforgiving force on Earth, the open ocean. But what started as a daring adventure quickly spiraled into a life-and-death battle with the sea itself. Alone in the vast, merciless waters of the Indian Ocean, thousands of miles from help, Abby found herself facing the full wrath of nature. Towering waves crashed down on her tiny boat, wild eyes, and a violent storm threatened to pull her into the abyss. Abigail Sunderland was born on October 19, 1993 in Los Angeles, California. Her upbringing was far from ordinary. She was the second of 7 children in a family of adventurers, led by her father, Lawrence Sunderland, a professional sailor and shipbuilder. Her mother, Mary Ann, was also an avid lover of the sea, and together they nurtured their children's passion for sailing. Abby's older brother, Zach Sunderland, had already made history in 2009 as the youngest person to sail solo around the world at just 17 years old. Inspired by her brother's feat, Abby yearned to make her mark on the world of sailing. From a young age, Abby spent much of her time on boats, and her life revolved around the sea. She was an experienced sailor by her mid-teens, having clocked thousands of nautical miles. Determined to break the record for the youngest solo circumnavigator, she began intensive training and preparations for her journey. Her boat, Wild Eyes, was a 40-foot sloop designed for long-distance ocean racing. The vessel was equipped with cutting-edge technology, including a satellite phone, autopilot, and emergency beacons, all crucial for surviving the unpredictable waters she would face. Despite criticism from some quarters, with many questioning whether a 16-year-old was mature enough to take on such a dangerous challenge, Abby and her family remained confident in her abilities. The journey was meticulously planned, but no amount of preparation could guarantee safety against the mighty forces of the ocean. On January 23, 2010, Abby set sail from Marina del Rey, California, embarking on her ambitious mission to become the youngest person to sail around the world alone. She planned to complete the voyage non-stop, following the same course that had been laid out by other world record holders, sailing around Cape Horn at the tip of South America, then across the Atlantic, Indian, and Pacific Oceans, before returning to her starting point. For the first few months, Abby's voyage proceeded smoothly, though it was not without challenges. In February, her course took her into the southern hemisphere, where she faced increasingly rough seas and stormy weather. As a solo sailor, Abby had to manage every aspect of the journey herself, from navigation and steering to maintaining her boat and keeping herself safe. Her autopilot system, which was designed to keep the boat on course while she rested, became her lifeline. In April 2010, near the southern tip of Africa, Abby encountered a significant problem. Her autopilot malfunctioned. The failure of this critical piece of equipment meant that Abby had to manually steer the boat at all times, making it nearly impossible to rest or sleep. After several days of struggling with the malfunction, Abby made the difficult decision to stop in Cape Town, South Africa for repairs. This stop would disqualify her from setting the record for a non-stop circumnavigation, but she remained undeterred. Her focus shifted to completing the journey, even if it wasn't non-stop. After a brief stopover in Cape Town to repair the autopilot and resupply, Abby resumed her journey on May 21, 2010, heading into the Indian Ocean. Little did she know, the most dangerous part of her journey was yet to come. As Abby sailed deeper into the Indian Ocean, she encountered increasingly treacherous conditions. The Indian Ocean is infamous for its unpredictable weather and powerful storms, and Abby was about to face one of the most severe storms of her voyage. On June 10, 2010, Abby was hit by a massive storm. Towering waves, some as high as 30 feet, pounded Wild Eyes, and gale-force winds whipped across the deck. The storm grew worse by the hour, and despite Abby's best efforts to control the boat, Wild Eyes was knocked down, a sailing term for when a boat is tipped so far over by a wave that its mast is nearly horizontal to the water. Abby's boat recovered from the knockdowns, but the pounding continued. In the midst of the chaos, the worst-case scenario unfolded. Her boat was dismasted. The loss of the mast left Wild Eyes crippled and Abby helpless, drifting in one of the most remote and dangerous parts of the world. With her boat disabled, Abby quickly activated her emergency distress beacon, knowing that rescue might be days away, if it came at all. Her satellite phone was barely functional, but she managed to send one last message to her family. Everything's under control, taking on a little water. The boat's not in the best shape. Abby's emergency signal was picked up by the International Search and Rescue Authorities, and a dramatic rescue operation began. Her family, who had been following her progress closely, waited anxiously for news, unsure of her fate. The search and rescue effort was coordinated by the Australian Maritime Safety Authority, AMSA, as Abby was closest to Australia's western coast. The rescue mission wasn't easy. Abby was located over 2,000 miles from the nearest land, in one of the most remote parts of the Indian Ocean. The nearest ship capable of assisting her was a French fishing vessel, Île de la Réunion, which was over 400 miles away. Additionally, an Australian Qantas Airbus A330 was dispatched from Perth to fly over her last known position in hopes of establishing visual contact. For 2 agonizing days, Abby drifted alone at sea, with no communication and no certainty that help was coming. Her family and the world watched as the clock ticked down, and the storm continued to rage around her. Finally, on June 12, 2010, the search aircraft spotted Wild Eyes. Abby's boat was still afloat, but barely. She was alive. The French vessel Île de la Réunion reached Abby's position and rescued her from her battered yacht. Physically, she was unharmed, but the ordeal had taken a heavy emotional toll. Abby was airlifted to safety, and after her dramatic rescue, she was brought back to the Australian mainland. Abby's rescue sparked an international debate about the risks of such daring endeavors. Critics argued that it was irresponsible to allow a 16-year-old to attempt such a dangerous journey, questioning both her judgment and that of her parents. The media highlighted the dangers of solo sailing, especially for someone so young, and many wondered whether Abby should have been at sea at all. However, Abby's supporters, including many experienced sailors, praised her courage, skill, and composure during the ordeal. They pointed out that even the most seasoned sailors face unpredictable dangers at sea, and Abby had handled herself with remarkable maturity and resilience. Her father, Abby Sunderland, defended his daughter's attempt, saying, "Sailing and adventure is in our blood. We are proud of her." Abby herself expressed no regrets about attempting the voyage. In interviews following her rescue, she maintained that she had been well prepared and had made the best decisions she could under the circumstances. "The ocean is unpredictable, and I knew the risks," she said, "but I wouldn't trade the experience for anything." After her rescue, Abby returned to California and began to share her incredible story with the world. In 2011, she co-authored a book, Unsinkable, a young woman's courageous battle on the high seas, which chronicled her journey and the challenges she faced. The book served as both an inspiration and a testament to her courage and determination. Though her attempt to circumnavigate the globe was cut short, Abby continued to pursue her love for adventure. She took part in public speaking engagements, sharing her message of resilience and the importance of pursuing one's dreams, no matter the obstacles. In a surprising turn of events, Wild Eyes was discovered in 2018, 8 years after Abby's rescue. A tuna spotting aircraft found the wreckage drifting near Kangaroo Island off the coast of South Australia. The boat had been floating in the ocean for years, a haunting reminder of Abby's ordeal and the power of the sea. Her legacy lives on as a symbol of youthful determination, showing that even when faced with the worst circumstances, the will to survive and the passion for adventure can triumph. Abby's story is not just about one stormy night in the Indian Ocean. It's about the courage to dream big, the resilience to endure hardship, and the bravery. Thank you for watching this video. Hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more interesting videos.